This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, nerds. I'm Mark Weber, and you are listening to A Graphic Conversation, the bi-weekly podcast where we read, discuss, and review the best, and hopefully not the worst, in graphic novels. And today, I am joined, as I always am, by my good friend and fellow man-child, Ricky Widmer.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And today, on the season finale of Season 1...
I can't believe we're already at the end.
It feels great to be back, right?
Yeah,
it feels great to be back.
It feels great to have had one season now under our shoulders, and of course,
official season.
Of course, Ricky does what he always do, and he cuts Mark off.
Of course. It feels. In case you didn't know, we had episodes before. This is the reboot. This was it. Maybe you just started listening today. This was the reboot. We officially declared this season 1. Everything else is prologue. Doesn't really matter too much. And for this one, we read The Batman Adventures, Mad Love. Now, you might be wondering, what is this book even about? Am I going to be interested in it? So let me give you a very quick rundown. So the Joker's out there trying to wreak havoc again, trying to finally kill the Batman. And of course, as he always does, Batman finds a way to stop him. So the Joker goes through all of his plans to try and find that one that is going to finally kill the Batman. And Harley Quinn, all she wants is some love, because all you need is love. And she's not getting it. She's not getting any. So she realizes the one thing holding her back from her beloved Joker is the Batman. And she is going to go on her own and finally find the way to kill the Batman to finally impress her lover and have her happily ever after.
Yeah, and this is one, it's kind of, we got to read something about either Harley. At first we're like, oh, do we read a Suicide Squad one? And then I said, I got this one at home that kind of goes along with Harley Quinn. So we kind of pulled this one out for, as you guys are listening to it, hopefully tonight you're going to see Suicide Squad.
Yeah, you can listen to this on the car ride there. I will say one thing. It is a little different than everything else, especially if you've been listening to the whole season. This isn't actually a graphic novel. It's just a 64-page special one-off.
Yeah.
Essentially. So we feel like the thing about me and the reason why I love graphic novels is because it's a self-contained story. And this is a self-contained story. So we felt it was still appropriate.
Well, I mean, it fits to what we're doing. The best way I describe it is because the illustrations of it are exactly like you would see in Batman the Animated Series. After I was done reading it, I just said, feels like I just watched an episode of Batman TAS. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, and for good reason, too. Because you have it being written by writers of the animated series, and Batman Beyond, of course. And it is exactly that. It really does feel like the show. And it's nostalgic, I think, for us. Hopefully for some of you out there, too, it's nostalgic. If you've never seen the animated series, you definitely need to go and do it. Or Batman Beyond. Either one is worth watching.
We need a Batman Beyond movie, but that's a different podcast altogether.
Yeah. So it's good. For those of you who this might be your first time listening to A Graphic Conversation, let me show you how it goes. We're going to talk about this book. First, we're going to be in spoiler-free area. This is spoiler-free territory. We will not ruin anything. We will stop and we will warn you when it becomes spoiler time, when we enter the spoiler zone, and we'll let you pause. We'll let you go ahead and read it. You can come back, and then we will go on. If you don't care and you don't mind if things being spoiled, fantastic. Stay with the conversation. We'll do all our stuff. We'll talk about the book. We'll discuss blah, blah, blah. In the end, we will give you our review, our rating of the book, and let you know if we think you should read it. But I think both of us right now are going to recommend that you read this book.
Oh, no, this is one to me where it's not one of those ones where you're like, whoa, top 5 greatest things I've ever read. It's just one where you're like, man, did I have a lot of fun reading that.
It's just a fun, quick, easy read. And with that being said, here comes Ricky Widmer's favorite question. Ricky, who is this book for? Who should read it?
Well, first off, I'm going to say if you are like me and grew up on Batman the Animated Series and can remember watching it and you have the box set at home, and when you watch them, you kind of revert to your kid self and just being totally excited about the cartoon, this is right up your alley. The illustrations, that's one of the best things I loved about this, were the illustrations, because it was right on. It was exactly with what the animated series is. And I mean, that's what you're going to get when you get a Bruce Timm's behind this. If Bruce Timm's behind it, first off, the story's going to be great as any kind of cartoon movie for DC that Bruce Timm has done. And you know it's going to be direct to the source material, and this one was the animated series.
Oh, for sure. And I think this is not something that everybody has to read. But if you are a Batman fan, if you love the animated series, if you just want something quick, this is a good thing to read. If you're like, hey, I also think if you're on Comixology or something like that and you're like, man, I got 30 minutes to kill, let me check this one out. And with that being said, too, if you want to get a different look at Harley Quinn, I think this is good, too, because this is all about
Harley. Yeah, and I mean, that's the main reason why I picked. And I'm going to say I picked this one mostly because I just had this one sitting at home.
Yeah.
And I had never read it. And funny how I got it. An ex-girlfriend gave it to me. And I'm like, oh, I've never read it. Let's read this one. And I'm glad that we read this one for Suicide Squad, because who's the main focal point of the movie, it seems? Harley Quinn.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see how much the relationship matters. If you're listening to this on any day after the day it came out, Yeah, this is coming out just the Friday. Boom, we come out in the morning. Well, we should be coming out right now in the morning and you're listening to us. But tonight it is, well, for me, because I work, tonight it's all about going and seeing it. Suicide Squad. And that's the one thing in this, I know that kind of, that's for the spoiler free. We'll get to
forgetting how we do things.
So, first of all, let's say we're getting close to spoiler zone.
This one's short, so I mean the non-spoiler. We have not a lot to talk about besides it's a great read and it looks exactly like the animated series.
Yeah, the quick things I will say, Ricky, of course, first impressions when you first started reading it, but also get to that after you get to, I don't know why I did it in this order, after you get to what your expectations were coming in.
Oh, my expectations were, it was going to be my expectations were met. Because looking at the cover, looking at kind of just like flipping through it, you knew it was going to be like the animated series. And when I first started reading it, it took that first page, I went, okay, this is going to be exactly like the animated series. As I started reading the Joker lines, you kind of read them as Mark Hamill. Well, I couldn't read it out loud because I read this while I was at jury duty, but you kind of read them in your head, and it's like, okay, Mark Hamill's coming out now. Got to read him like Mark Hamill. And then you got to read Batman like Conroy, and it's like, the source material for it, which is the animated series, just 110%.
Yeah, I think coming into this, I know you were pretty excited about it.
Well,
and everything.
I love Batman. I'm a Batman guy.
Yeah,
he's my favorite.
No surprise that this season's ending on Batman.
Yeah,
but I was excited about it. I definitely was excited. I expected it to be nice, quick, short, fun. I thought it was going to be a good time, and it really was. It was everything I expected it. My impressions on reading it were really just that this was fun. It was very nostalgic, and it was cool. It was just a nice, easy thing to do. So, with that being said, hit pause now if you do not want anything spoiled for you and you want to read this book. We're both recommending that you read it, so go ahead. It's really quick. You'll be back in 20, 30 minutes.
I can't wait for the people that hit pause right when you said now and then look at their screen like, okay, well, now what do I do?
Yeah.
I hit pause before Mark told me what to do.
We have comments of, now
what do I do?
It's just fine. We'll tell you what to do. That's what the comment section is for. So with that being said, of course, we're now officially in spoiler territory. Mm-hmm. So where would you like to start, Ricky?
I want to start with what we were kind of discussing before we hit the record button. You brought it up to me, and I'm going to bring it up now while we're actually hot on the microphones. That's the relationship between Harley Quinn and the Joker, and more so her origin story. You didn't like how they, like, you said, I get it, that's Harley Quinn, but you didn't exactly like how they did it in the book.
It felt easy, is really what it was. And I know there's only 64 pages. You only got so much you can do. But it was like, the way Batman tells the story to Alfred is, Harley Quinn's an issue, and Joker's been worse since she's been around, but she's always been a bad one. And then they just go to, like skip to her in college, or her in whatever school she's in. And like, she was always a bad person. And they just show her with bad grades, goes into the office, has sex with a professor, and then comes out with a good grade. And that's she was bad because she had sex with a professor?
That's the thing that...
Not moral, but not bad.
That's the thing that, I mean, I saved it for this because of what I was going to bring up, which is kind of a spoiler. And if you've read to this point, this isn't going to be news to you. This thing was humorous, but it had some dark Easter eggs. Like, that wouldn't be an Easter egg, but that's part of it being, like, dark. Where you see Harley Quinn... I looked at the lingerie and I kind of like had I felt like I was reading a nudie magazine at jury duty because I'm like closing the book I'm like I don't want people to look over and being like, what the fuck is this guy reading? Because really you're sitting there and like people are. Luckily I had a few chairs in between me, but I'm like, man, I don't want like this guy next to me to be looking over like, man, this guy's looking at nudie magazines while we're waiting to get called for jury. But there was a scene where she's thinking about, our kids together, and the kids are running around, and of course there's like a Batmobile on fire on the floor. But up in the corner of the panel, you see kind of a like shadow. You can see two things hung with a noose, and you just see their feet, and it's blue. It's like a blue rabbit and a pink rabbit. And my first thought was, holy shit, that's the Tiny Toons. So even they're adding like Warner Brothers shit to this, because obviously Warner Brothers owned the rights to the animated series, but I'm like, holy shit, that's a dark Easter egg. Like, if I was a kid, of course I would just look over that. But me as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, they killed the Tiny Toons.
Yeah, which is good. Kill those things. But, it was interesting. I would have thought that when you're showing like the dark side of Harley Quinn before she becomes Harley Quinn, something a little more than that. Like maybe she threatened to teach her into giving her a grade. That sounds like Harley Quinn to me, as opposed to just she banged the dude because she's good looking.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, that's honestly like my one complaint that I had while reading this. Like everything else, I was like, this is awesome. This is great.
No, it's exactly a great like. And the thing with we talked about Harley Quinn's kind of origin. You said it was easy, but the thing that you asked me. And I'm going to ask it now here on the podcast. See, I'm stealing your questions and I'm flipping them back on you. Do we think that Harley Quinn and the Joker have screwed, or is the Joker holding it over her head to get what he wants?
Yeah, I don't think that they have sex in this world. I really don't. The way so for anyone who has not read this, Harley Quinn is laying around in lingerie as the Joker is doing his plans and trying to figure out how to kill the Batman. And that always
fits the animated series. That's where you get the line, don't you want to rev up your Harley?
Yeah. And he has zero interest, and he's like, get the fuck out of here. So I don't think they have sex. I actually, when you think about it that way, you're too, like, the Joker has zero interest in probably any sex. I know that it's boyfriend, girlfriend, but it really is just a manipulation power that he has over her.
I don't really see it as manipulation. I see it as it's kind of like that relationship where the girl is like, you know what? You're too focused on your friends, man. You're way too focused on your friends. Why don't you focus more on me? Except in this case, his air quotes friend is trying to kill Batman.
The Batman.
Like, he is so focused on Batman and trying to one-up Batman or kill Batman that he ignores Harley because he's obsessed with Batman. He's obsessed with Batman. I got to kill Batman. I got to kill Batman, to where it's like, fucking Harley, get away from me.
Yeah. I've always viewed the Harley Quinn Joker relationship as just cause you got to go back to when she's a doctor.
He used her to get out.
He used her to get out, and he used her obsession over the criminally insane. She is really into that, and he manipulated that, and she knew she was an easy target, knew he could make her fall in love and take care of it.
Because the head of Arkham didn't want Harley. She's like, no, you can't talk to him.
Yeah, because she knew what was going to happen, and it did. And I think then afterwards, he kind of keeps that relationship going because he knows, hey, you are in love with me. You'll do whatever I say, but I'm going to keep holding it over your head and keep saying you're not good enough yet.
Yeah.
You got to keep proving and keep impressing me and everything like that, because that's all she's trying to do is impress him. And then kill Batman, because if she kills Batman, the one thing in between them is out of the way.
However, it's great because in the end, when she does finally, I fixed the plan. If you flip Batman upside down, the piranhas look like they're smiling.
Yeah. So if anyone has not read, essentially part of this plan is dipping Batman into a pool of piranhas, but they can't smile.
But they can't smile because they look like frowns. So she says, you know what? We're going to hang Batman over it. So now to Batman, it looks like they're smiling. And the best part that I think describes the Joker perfectly is he's basically now pissed off because it's like, no, it doesn't fucking matter because you came up with it. Yeah. I need to come up with it. I need to kill Batman. Now it's you did it. You did it. You killed the Batman. I didn't kill the Batman. You did it. You did it.
That's one of those two things I like about it. I love when they shout out to other villains where the first one is Joker thinking of plans like, oh, this plan is too Riddler, like things like that. And the next one is he's thinking about what the Riddler will say. What I think one of them was Penguin, what Penguin would say when they find out that Harley, the girlfriend, is the one that actually killed Batman and it wasn't Joker. They all forget about who Joker is at that point.
Yeah, or they just mock him, where it's basically like, you needed her help, and you're the arch nemesis of Batman.
Exactly. So it's definitely those are the fun things that you like in it. But you gotta love the way that Batman, being Batman, knows how to get to his enemies. He says, "Hey, it doesn't matter if you kill me because
she did it."
Well, no, not even that. He's telling, well, he knows that that's a thing, but when he's talking to Carly, he's like, Joker's not here. He doesn't know that you killed me. He's not going to believe you. He's got to be here.
To where she then calls him and says, hey, you got to look at what I did.
Yeah, knowing that once he gets there, he's going to flip his shit and be like, no, I'm the one who has to do it. Which gives Batman enough time to really, be Batman. Yeah. Essentially. And I like the mention of the utility belt. She took off his belt so he couldn't do anything.
See, I took off the belt for you.
Yeah. She's wishing if only she could take off the Joker's belt. But not quite.
Yeah, not quite. Not quite at all. But I mean, this one, it really only revolves around those three characters, too. Yeah. Joker, Harley, and Batman. No Robin, no Nightwing. I mean, Commissioner Gordon's
He's
of
at the very beginning. Alfred makes an appearance really fast. But that's it. And it's very simple. It's very nice. It's very easy. I do like that at the end, Harley's like, hey, she's going to Arkham. She's like, I see it now. I know what's happened. I'm done. I'm done with the Joker. I'm not into this anymore. And the old Arkham director, she's like, oh, was it worth it? That type of stuff. And then finally you see the little shout out to the beginning, the rose that he's got on there, wishing her that she'll get better. And all of a sudden you see it in her eyes.
And she smiles. It's the Joker smile.
Yep. And she's in. She's still in. He's still got his claws in there, his hooks in there. So he's got it. So, Ricky, is there anything that you would say we missed when talking about this?
It feels like I'm looking at the time for the timestamp, and I'm like, man, there feels like there should be more, but there's really not with this one.
I mean, most graphic novel, like your basic graphic novel, is going to be like 120, 150 pages.
This was 64.
Yeah, this is really short. That's what I'm saying. If you just have 30 minutes to kill, this is a great way to do it.
Not even, maybe like 20.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's really quick. It really is.
It's like I said, it is an episode of the animated series.
Yeah, pretty much. So, with that being said, the best time here, Ricky, what are you going to give it as a grade?
I'm going to actually go twofold. I'll read you what I wrote down for my notes on my phone as I was reading it, and then I'll kind of give you my just overall what I finally think. As I read it, this was notes as I read it, I put 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. And thinking about it, I think I'm leaning more towards the 4 out of 5, only because for me, a 5 out of 5 is like, boom, top 5 graphic novel. You have to read this. It's amazing, one of the best of all times. I don't know if this is at that level. It was just one of those ones where it's like, it was good. I had a good time. I laughed. Yeah. I liked it. I didn't have anything bad to say about it. Solid 4 out of 5.
So part of me wants to go to a 3.5.
Why? Like, it wasn't that bad.
Because, not that it's bad. I honestly just feel I'm going to forget about it. It's a forgettable book.
Okay.
It's not that I didn't enjoy it, because I really had a great time. I only had a single complaint.
But nothing there kind of stuck with you.
Yeah, there's nothing that's going to be like, yes, this is. I can't get past that.
Like a Walking Dead, like Invincible has stuff that's like Morning Glories that we're going to get back to eventually in future seasons.
I mean, even when we did the, I can't remember what the last Batman that we read.
Was it Hush?
No, not Hush.
Batman and Son. We read Batman and Son.
No, but after that, it was the Asylum.
Oh, Arkham Asylum, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even that one, like, there's stuff, even like I didn't really like that book that much, but the art sticks out in my mind, and I can't forget about that art style. Great, great read, fun read, nothing just stuck out. I think you should read it because it's quick and it's fun, but there's definitely other Batman novels I would suggest before it. Solid 3.5, just a good read for sure. So everybody, thank you for checking out A Graphic Conversation Season 1. I hope you watched or listened to all of the episodes of Season 1.
And if you haven't, hey, they're all up. Go ahead and listen on through them. Read some good graphic novels.
Yep, you can go onto mostvaluablepodcast.com and get the whole list of everything that we read. You can get them, read them too, join in the conversation down below in the comment section. If there's anything that you want us to read, follow us on Twitter at mostvaluablepod and let us know. Ricky is at Ricky Widmer. I am at the Mark Weber. Don't forget those dub them E's, everybody. And we'll see you guys next time for Season 2. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Check us out on everything on Facebook, Twitter, and we'll be here for next time, guys, when we read more of the best, and hopefully not the worst, graphic novels.
Can't wait. Guardians of the Galaxy starting off Season 2.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Most Valuable Pod for more great podcasts.